King of all Wrestle Media, Gene Jackson here at undisclosed location. Won't say where we're at, but I'm here with Mr. A.W.O.L. Sir, how you doing? That's not how we do it.
What's up?
You ain't gonna hold the mic. Let's go. Let's talk about it. What the fuck are we doing?
Wait, hold on. Can we restart real quick?
No, you're good. We'll cut it and edit. Go for it.
All right. You know what? Tonight, Aaron Dallas, he escaped by the skin of his teeth. You see, A.W.O.L. Fuck, sorry.
No, you're good. Keep it rolling. We'll cut it. Yeah, let him hold the mic. It'll help him.
All right.
We're not doing all that. This is fun. This is CheapHeatTV. This isn't pro style. This isn't for pro. You ain't gotta do all that.
Yeah, this isn't pro.
No, you ain't gotta do all that, man. Just tell us a little about you, man. Tell us about this sweet attire you have on.
See, when A.W.O.L goes out, A.W.O.L dresses to impress. That's what A.W.O.L does. You want a job? You gotta put on your best look, put your best hand forward, and you gotta stick out to them, and that's what A.W.O.L does. A.W.O.L shows up because A.W.O.L likes to stick out. That's who A.W.O.L is. A.W.O.L is the person who's going to stick out more than anyone else.
I like it. See, now we're getting somewhere. We don't want all that wrestle talk, all that. Hey, man, no, we just want to learn about you, man. Your style and your profile. I saw you up there earlier. You did something I've never seen in professional wrestling. I've been watching wrestling since I was, I don't know, 6, 7 years old. I'm 45 years old. Kayfabe that though. They had a promo of you going up on the screen, a video promo, and then you were cutting a promo in the ring at the same time. There was a promo going of you on the screen, so there was like 2 A.W.O.L promos going at once. That's pretty sweet.
You know what? I like to hear myself talk, and I know everyone out there needs to hear me talk because A.W.O.L has a message that everyone needs to hear. A.W.O.L's voice is dynamite. It is fire, and his mouth is a flamethrower, and he likes to spread his fire everywhere.
Now, I know, like, in wrestling, you know, you had, like, Triple H was Hunter Hearst Helmsley, and MJF is Maxwell Jacob Friedman. So is A.W.O.L, like, Alexander Walter Oliver Lawrence, or what does that stand for?
We'll cut it in post. You're good. Keep walking through. Yeah, you're good.
We chop it up. That's all.
A.W.O.L's just my fight name.
So it means what A.W.O.L literally means, like in the army.
Correct.
Absent, without.
See, I am Nathaniel Zephaniah Catherine, #1 promoter of the #1 sports entertainer, A.W.O.L.
So you're two different people?
Just one. Is Muhammad Ali 2 different people?
Yeah, but Muhammad Ali, it wasn't like, I'm Cassius Clay, I'm the promoter of Muhammad Ali, but you just said I'm A.W.O.L, the fighter, but then I'm also, what was that, Zachariah Zebekiah
Yeah, but
Johnson?
You ever hear of Sugar Ray Leonard? You see, Ray Leonard was one of the greatest boxers ever, but you know what he told himself? He'd look in the mirror before every single fight because he'd want to look into his eyes, and if he saw Ray Leonard looking back at him, he might go out and he's gonna lose. But if he looks in that mirror and it's Sugar Ray who's staring him in the eyes, he knows he's about to win.
So a heavy boxing influence here. We're influenced by Muhammad Ali. We're influenced by Sugar Ray Leonard. At some point where there'll be like an A.W.O.L grill where you're influenced by like George Foreman.
A.W.O.L's gonna go where the money goes.
So there's already a grill. So if you were going to pitch something for A.W.O.L to make, because listen, they pitched that grill to Hulk Hogan. They have the same agent. I don't know if you know this story, but Hulk Hogan and George Foreman have the same agent. They pitched their grill to Hogan, and Hogan was like, "That don't work for me, brother." So they gave it to George Foreman. George Foreman reaped untold millions. So the grill's already out there. So if we were going to have something that suits A.W.O.L or his promoter, Zebekiah Jeremiah Johnson Fredrickson III, what would it be?
Well, A.W.O.L's currently in the line of invention. You see, A.W.O.L is currently creating electric knee pads.
Electric knee pads, okay. What function would they serve?
They protect your knees.
I mean, why would they need to be electric?
Because you need to charge them.
Your knees? Like,
The knee pads.
you
plug
charge,
them-
I know, but
plug
you
them-
charge the knee.
plug
Fuck we
them into
doing?
the wall, you let the battery,
Cut that in
you
edit.
wait for the battery to reach full, and then when it's full, you wear them and they protect your knees.
Electrically.
Yes.
Okay. All right, before we go,
And some of them don't have the adapted charger. You've got to keep the cable plugged into the wall to make sure it functions fully at all times.
A.W.O.L electric knee pads coming soon to Target, Bed Bath & Beyond, and hopefully Walmart, because that's where the money is. But before we go, in a recent interview I did with Brandon Watley, you know B. Watt, Brandon Watley, Serpent Assassin?
I know him.
Yeah, he's very snakish-like, he says. I asked him who inspired him to be a professional wrestler. He told me this great, really long-winded story about how he was inspired by Booker T, because Booker T robbed a Wendy's, and I think B. Watt used to like run the drive-thru to Wendy's or something like that. I don't know. I got lost in all of it, but it was real inspirational. So, who inspired A.W.O.L to become a professional wrestler?
That would have to be The Undertaker. The Undertaker, ever since A.W.O.L was a little kid, was just the biggest, the best, and the scariest person he ever saw. And A.W.O.L actually took off a few years from watching wrestling. But when he found out The Undertaker lost his streak, the biggest thing that A.W.O.L would tune in, even when he wasn't watching wrestling, he'd still pay attention to what's going on around WrestleMania, because The Undertaker's streak was the biggest thing to him. And the day after he found out Undertaker lost, like, it left him with this weird feeling inside, and that's when he wanted to start getting back into it. And then he became obsessed with it. He wanted to go out and he wanted to do it. He traveled 1,600 miles away from his home so he could go out and he could become a professional wrestler, so that one day people would look at him and say, you know what, I'm glad The Undertaker lost at WrestleMania because it led to you.
Wow. Now I'm confused. Now, so A.W.O.L and Zach, same guy, but you
There
keep
is
talking
no
to.
Zach.
So what is his
No,
name?
my name's Nathaniel.
Nathaniel
Zephaniah.
Zephaniah.
Catherine.
Zephaniah. That's where I'm getting lost. Zephaniah. I've never heard that before. Are you Amish?
Do I look Amish?
You don't have the beard, but the name is a little Amishish. I got lost in that. I'm not sure where I was going with that now. But if you could do me a favor. Oh, I know what I was going to say. You keep talking in third person, so it's throwing me off because I feel like we're talking about somebody else, like you're kind of telling the story of A.W.O.L if he's somebody else. That's why I was kind of expecting you to say you were inspired by The Rock. What are your thoughts on The Rock? Dwayne Johnson. And that's the same guy.
The Rock is one of the greatest of all time. He calls himself the most electric because it's true, and he's someone who is able to transcend just wrestling. He broke out. He made big-time movies. He made big-time money.
Listen, I've got it. Who better to be a spokesman for your electric knee pads than The Rock? In fact, you could even add on an electric elbow pad that he could toss out there. Just, I ain't gonna charge you for that. You can use that. If you pitch that to him to say, hey, Gene Jackson told me I should hit you up. I've got this great product, electric knee pads, and I'm sure once he hears I'm on board, he'll be right there with you. Now, before we go, I said we may edit this up a little bit. I keep asking these guys, we're Cheap Heat TV. That's me, Xander, Shane Mako, Scott Morgan. I keep asking these guys in the back, I'm like, who inspired you to be wrestlers? And they're like, Booker T and The Undertaker. And if you could just say, if I could go back and edit this, and if I could just say, like, I'm going to ask you again, I'm say, who inspired you to be a wrestler? If you just be like, man, Shane Mako is the man who inspired me to be a wrestler, that would really help me out a lot. So if we could just cut. So A.W.O.L, who inspired you to become a professional wrestler?
Shane Mako, of course.
I seen a little bit of Shane Mako influence, so I'm glad to hear that. And of course, I'm sure Xander's had a lot to do with it as well.
Absolutely, Xander's.
There you go. Another man that has been inspired by the positivity of Xander's and the absolute coolness of Shane Mako. Mr. A.W.O.L, I thank you for joining us. You've been a tremendous guest, and thank you for watching once again, One-on-One with Gene Jackson.